Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
It is episode 222 of Weather Weekly. Good to be with you here, meteorologist Marcus Bailey, Wish TV in Indianapolis. As we now turn the page to a new month, April here this week. Not the first full week, obviously, but we are moving into April, and boy, does it get active. Obviously, active end to the month of March here this past weekend with storms over the weekend. And we've got maybe another round of severe weather in play here coming up this week. So we're going to break all of that down and talk about this very busy forecast as we head in to the first few days of April. That's coming up next here in the week ahead for March 31st, 2025. That's next on Weather Week. All right, let's get to it here. And we'll begin, obviously, pretty quiet here to open up this week with in the wake of our powerhouse cold front that moved through on Sunday, brought some storms to the area and some heavy rain, and now a rush of much cooler temperatures here. But it will be quiet, I do believe, heading into the first day of this week. I know many are still on spring break in terms of schools. We'll go mostly cloudy for much of the day. I don't think winds are going to be too bad. You could gust around 20 to 25. That's not terrible. Pretty standard. But highs are only going to get in the mid-40s for our Monday. So that's obviously down a lot from the weekend. It is below average. We should be typically kind of into that mid and upper 50 range. So it is going to be a chilly start to this week. We'll keep it mainly cloudy. I do think we'll clear the skies out, and heads up. It is going to be chilly. I think it's probably going to be below freezing for your Monday overnight. Lows will probably be around 30 degrees heading into your Monday overnight. So be aware of that. I know we're starting to see some things bloom, but we're still a long way off from being safe in terms of planting anything. You guys know that. We always mention Mother's Day is kind of the focal point of when you really are safe to be able to plant things. But I know it is nice to see things starting to bloom and blossom and green up and all that fun stuff. Tuesday looks pretty quiet too. I think we're mainly sunny, actually. We should see a little bit more sunshine and slightly warmer, closer to average. We'll call it seasonably cool. I got highs in the mid-50s for Tuesday, and then we'll go mostly cloudy and maybe a chance of some showers after midnight Tuesday night, and overnight lows into the mid-40s. Wednesday's the day that I want you guys to be on alert here. Obviously, we record this podcast very early into the week here, so we're a few days out. So unfortunately, when we're recording this, we don't have a lot of the really short-term information that we would need to be a little more certain on severe weather parameters. However, we can at least gauge in a broad perspective that there are enough elements that raise some eyebrows on the potential of severe weather for Wednesday. Right now, looks like it'll likely be an afternoon and evening event. I also think that it's going to turn quite breezy with non-thunderstorm winds, 35 to 40 miles per hour. And it is going to get rather warm and muggy. So what's going to end up happening is it looks like a warm front's going to pass through during the morning hours, and that will usher in the mild temperatures. It's also going to raise our dew points. These are all ingredients, especially the dew points, that you need to help to fuel thunderstorms. Not everything, but it is a few things. Cold front's going to drag through, again, afternoon or evening. The timing is still a little iffy on that. But all hazards are in play. Damaging winds, large hail, tornadoes. If we were to kind of focus in on best chances for tornadoes. It appears to be in southern portions of the state right now, at least from what the indications of what we're looking at. There might be a little bit more spin. We look at, they're called hodographs. I think I've mentioned in long ago podcasts that balloon soundings, and this is why, they're so important in the short term. The Weather Service will launch balloons so you can get a gauge of what is happening at different layers of the atmosphere, specifically temperature, wind direction, wind speed. There's a little bit more that goes into it as well, but those are key elements. And you'll get a profile, kind of a vertical profile of what's happening with all of those elements. But then you'll also kind of get a bird's eye view and what we call a hodograph. And what you look for is, was there some curvature in that as the balloon was going up? Because that would mean that your winds are twisting with height and potentially the winds are increasing with height as well, both of which you need to sustain a rotating thunderstorm that could potentially produce a tornado. Again, we're in like some longer range models, medium range models, if you will. So you get kind of a forecasted hodograph. It's not real time, obviously, but there are some signals that you may get a little bit of rotation there. And so obviously you need rotation to be able to produce tornadoes. And it does look like that is a possibility in southern Indiana. I don't want to rule it out in central Indiana, around the metro area. But it does look like it's a better possibility right now in the southern portions of our state, southern third of the state. So bottom line, be on alert, please, for Wednesday, that there'll be another chance for severe storms. Obviously, we've had to go through it. We had it this weekend. We've already had a couple of bouts of severe weather, had a couple of days where we've had tornado damage. So, I mean, look, we're in that time of year, right? So you just always need to be on alert for that type of weather. So, with that said, thunderstorms, again, afternoon and evening on Wednesday. Highs will be in the mid-70s. And again, non-thunderstorm wind gusts 35 to 40. That probably keeps us under wind advisory criteria, but it's borderline. It's close. So be aware of that. I do think our severe weather threat will be done by late Wednesday night. And showers will kind of diminish gradually Wednesday overnight. It's going to be mild. We'll have lows only in the mid to upper 50s. Pattern's going to stay, pattern's going to stay pretty active. Thursday, doesn't look like we're going to have severe weather, but there'll be some showers around for Thursday. Maybe a minor threat to river flooding depending on how much rain we pick up from Wednesday's system. and a lot of that's going to depend on how quickly that storm system moves out of here. If it's a fast mover, you really won't have any flooding concerns. If it's not, and you get persistent rain for a good chunk of the afternoon and evening, then Thursday, the carryover, you could maybe deal with some minor river flooding. All right. But again, I'm not seeing severe weather concerns as of right now. Part of that may be dependent on where the front that moves through has positioned itself. If it's long gone, then I would say we're probably okay, but you'll still have some of those rain chances around. Highs will be in the upper 60s and lower 70s, so cooler, but not a significant chill. All right. I also think we'll have those scattered rain chances potentially into Friday and probably Saturday. So it's a very active weather pattern here that we're looking at heading into the end of the week. You're basically going to have these waves of energy that are going to continue to kind of hover around. Friday's rain might be in the morning, and then we get a gap, and then you maybe get a warm front that comes in here late Friday night into Saturday, and then that will provide us with more rain chances as well. I will say, before I get to the temperatures, which, by the way, I think are going to be still pretty mild heading into the weekend. Mid-60s Friday, lower 60s on Saturday will probably be around that. Maybe a little bit warmer with the passage of the warm front on Sunday. Before I get to the kind of longer range temperatures, I will mention The 7-day rainfall output and why we have concern with maybe some river flooding has central and southern Indiana. So Indy Metro, basically I-70 and south, 4 to maybe 6 inches of rainfall in the central and southern portions of our state. And actually closer to the Ohio River, they're kind of in the 7 to 9 inch range of rainfall. So that does lead to some concern of flooding. Okay. That's a lot of water in a 7-day stretch. So it may be manageable if we spread it all out, right? And I think we do, because obviously we're getting, the Sunday rain that we just had. You get the Wednesday rain, the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday rain. But look, if we get all of this kind of on Wednesday and then again on Saturday, that's when we could run into problems. That's where you get the big issues if it comes all in one real swift motion. Longer range models does kind of bring the temperatures back a little bit. The weekend, I've got us kind of into that 60s range. There are some signs that, going in that first full week of April, which would technically be next week, so the 7th is Monday, the national blend of models actually are bringing our temperatures down closer to 50 degrees for Monday and Tuesday, and then bouncing back to the mid-50s on Wednesday. So not the best scenario for warmer weather lovers. Lots of days where we might be hovering around the freezing mark for overnight lows next week. So just be aware of that. If you got some things that are blooming and stuff like that you may want to take some precaution if they're not as hardy to be able to withstand that. Most are this time of year, but just be aware of that. All right. So that's where we're at. Again, just the focal points. Wednesday, be aware of severe weather, afternoon and evening, all modes of severe weather in play. And we are concerned with some flooding concerns over the next 7 days. Okay. Those are the two main points that I want to kind of drive home here in this week's podcast. Okay. We will keep you updated as we go through the week, of course, on air and online at wishtv.com. We'll wrap things up coming up next here on Weather Week. All right, I know we're not officially completely out of the month of March, at least when we're recording this here. Depends on when you're listening. So we don't have official numbers, but I can kind of gauge on where we're going to be kind of close to. And we'll have the official numbers on our rankings here next week on our next week's podcast. But right now, the average mean temperature is around 48 degrees. It does put us in a top 15 warmest March on record. The warmest is safe. That was back in 2012 at 56.6. So obviously with the cooler start, that'll bring it down a little bit, but I do think we're probably going to be safely in the top 15 in terms of ranking. It would be the warmest March that we've had. Well, technically last year was a little bit warmer at 48.2. But you go outside of that, you'd have to go back to 2016. It was 49.2 in terms of temperature. That's the average temperature there. In terms of precipitation, we're going to be tallying up the numbers here a little bit. But it's going to be one of the drier Marches, honestly, that we've had. Let's see. We're going to be in that maybe 2 to 3 inch range. And that would put us, let's see, kind of in the top. I'm looking over the numbers here. It would put us in the top 50, potentially driest, and potentially the driest that we've had since 2013, it looks like. Yeah, 2013. We only had 1.96 there. So running a little dry. I think we're going to making up for lost time this week if the numbers hold true there. So there you go. Just some quick nuts and bolts. Again, those are unofficial. I didn't want to throw out like hard numbers because those are going to change a little bit just depending on where our timing here. So that's where we're at there for the month of March. 8 to 14 day outlook. And I kind of already previewed this. This would put us for the time frame of April 6th to 12th, below average temperatures. And that's a pretty strong signal for the eastern half of the country that we might be running a little cool, and pretty strong signal for below average precipitation in that time frame as well. I think we brought this up last week, but I'll review it. The April outlook out, there's really no strong signals either way for above or below average temperatures, but there are some stronger signals for above average precipitation coming our way for the month of April. All right. And the spring outlook, again, I don't think I brought this up, and it was released last week. This would be for April, May, and June. The seasonal outlook, I should say. Spring has already technically started in the weather world for March. But April, May, June, so that 3-month stretch. Some hints of above average temperatures, and also some hints, maybe a stronger hint of above average precipitation over that 3-month stretch. All right, so there you go. That'll do it on this week's podcast. If you have any comments, you can shoot me an email anytime, marcus.bailey@wishtv.com. You can also hit me up on social media, Marcus Bailey Weather on Facebook, and then at Marcus Bailey on X, and TikTok, I believe, is the same, and Instagram is all Marcus Bailey Weather. So you can find me on those platforms as well. You can also get our forecast 24 hours a day on our website, wishtv.com, and our free Storm Track 8 weather app. So always appreciate you checking it out there. And you can always get my forecast on the TV side, although I'll be out the next couple of weeks. But you can get my colleagues. Tara will be there for Daybreak the next couple of weeks, starting at 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Wish TV locally, Channel 8 in Indianapolis, and always streaming online on the Watch Live tab at wishtv.com. Hope to see you there. Of course, we'll be updating, even though I'm out, we'll be updating social media on these severe weather potentials coming up here this week specifically, but of course at any time coming up during the severe weather season. So hope you can find us there. While you're here, make sure to check out all the other great podcasts, all part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Have a wonderful week. We will talk to you soon, and God bless.
Discover more from Storm Track 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com, and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.